Why do I want it so bad? Give me the bag, give me a Grammy, cash me a stack, grab me an ass, we'll have a blast, I want all the fame, rising the game.
Before I even start the interview, I just want to thank everybody who listened to my album so far. I really hope you all enjoyed it. I've been through a lot of hills, mountains, fire, woods, you know, battles. I've been through hell and back, basically, is what I'm saying, to get this album out. And now that it's out, I feel so relieved. It's a great feeling, you know, to know that it's out and it's doing good. And they already pushed 12,000 in a week streams on Spotify. I don't know how many. I gotta wait to get the stuff, you know, from Apple Music. Thing is, Apple Music and other things, they don't let you know how it's doing until like certain stage points. But with Spotify, if you get the Spotify for Artists app, you can see how your album's actually doing. And mine picked up pretty quick. I'm very happy with the results for the first week. I expect it to slow down, but I mean, at the same time, I don't. Because I'm going to push it as much as I can. Yeah, but this album took a while. The first 2 songs you hear in the album, which I love, I had those for 2 years. I mean, I had a lot of the songs for 2 years. I had some for maybe a half a year. But it just took so long to get my shit together, you know, because I'm an indie artist, you know. I'm not getting paid to do my stuff. I'm doing everything on my own, like my interviews, my shows, all that stuff, my hype. I do it all by myself. So I don't got nobody paying me to do this. I do it because I love it. So that's why it took so long to get this album to hit the streaming sites and you know, be perfect and ready to go and, you know, have a story and a message. I had to get everything together and, you know, see how I wanted to perpetrate this album to its best potential. Basically, the album was meant to represent Italian culture. And when I say Italian culture, I mean in all aspects. Italian-American culture, I should say. You know, but still Italian culture, because even though we're Italian Americans, we still generate from Italy. You know, our ancestors still come from Italy. So we still have that culture with us, that Italian culture. That's what the album was based on. A little bit of American culture in there too, but most of it was based on Italians coming to America and the experience. And a lot of Italians don't really even know the experience coming to America, even Italian Americans, because they weren't educated. And that's basically where I wanted to go with the album. So when I started doing stuff, I mean, it all sparked off of Al Capone. That single, you know, I said a lot of something with a good hook. The hook was so basic, but the hook was so hard at the same time, you know what I'm saying? So when I'm saying, I'm like dissing the cops and stuff, and I got Michael Corleone in the background in the beginning. Like, that really set the tone. Like, yo, this shit's real. So when I said that, and there was a lot of bars in there, like, that I made Al Capone's image. Like, there was a part where I was like, hating on me because the Guinea's looking snorky. Nobody understands what that means, but I did my research. So I was basically able to take who he was and put it on a rap song, and just people love it. And they don't understand half the bars, but they, you know, they just feel the emotion and everything. Like, you know, they hated him. What can I say? He was the biggest gangster of his time. I mean, cops had no trace to him. I mean, they hit him with freaking tax evasion. Like, that's the best they could do. Out of all he did, they hit him for tax evasion. Oh my God. But he had money, he had power, he was snorky. He wasn't one of them normal American people with the ability to have money. He didn't come from old wealth. He built his own wealth. He was his own boss. You know? He built his own people. Everybody was like, how the hell did he do that? he was so powerful in the way he stood. And basically I wanted to like show that a little in his song, and I wanted to make statements too. Like that song just made a statement, and it helps Italian Americans, especially people who are in the hip hop industry, Italian Americans in the hip hop industry. When they heard that song, I wanted them to feel like at some type of power. Like I wanted them to hear this and be like, oh, we have a name in the industry. You know, this is all about what we started. Before hip hop, especially gangster rap, 'cause gangster rap really took the way. A lot of these hip hop artists now just glorify Al Capone, John Gotti, you know, mob life and all that stuff. So that's why that type of lifestyle was all over my album, because I wanted people to know we started this. We have a right to represent this. It's in our blood, it's in our history, it's in our ancestry. I mean, if you had family that was involved in this, you have every right to rap about it. It's in our blood. So we aren't going anywhere. And I wanted Italians to feel like that. I wanted them to feel that wave, and I wanted them to feel that message I was trying to portray. And I mean, Black Hand was basically educating Italian Americans on how it started before Capone. Black Hand was the very first Italian gangster people starting violence on everything, and you know, doing extortion for money and all these things. It all started, what they would do is they would take a paper and they would put a black hand on it. That was their symbol. And they had a knife or whatever, or so call it, and it would have a message on it. And the message would say, next time we won't miss. And they didn't miss next time if they didn't get their money. So that was big. And basically what it was for was like they would guard stores, like convenience stores and stuff, protect it for security. And if these people didn't pay them monthly for their services, their security is going to retaliate on them. That was basically how it worked. It was just like, it's basically just like sticking somebody up and we have power, you better listen to us. But yeah, that was I wanted to educate them on that, because that was a big part, and that basically sparked the gangster life, was that. And it's just so funny to think it all started in Little Italy. And then look at Little Italy now. I mean, it's a block. China owns pretty much everything else. It's sad, but Made Man was a personal song. Made Man, like, really described how I felt deep down. Not necessarily as I wanted to be a made man, but I wanted to have power. I wanted to have a sense of importance in life. And I wanted to be my own boss, run a family, you know, in my own way. And I mean, all that stuff about seeing my father behind bars and stuff, that was true. I really went and saw my dad in jail. My dad was in jail for like half my life. So that was really an emotional part. You know, how can they do this? You know, I need my dad. There has to be another way. Why do you got to keep him behind bars? Like, that was a real feeling for me. And I know there's a lot of other people out there whose dad was probably locked up for the same stuff, or, you know, whatever their dad was locked up for. I don't really feel comfortable saying what my dad was locked up for, but he was locked up for half my life. And it was really hard. Like, I had to go see him in jail, and I listened to everything he said. It was my role model, you know. Because he wasn't there, I wanted him to be there so much that it didn't matter that he wasn't. Like, I still went there and showed him the loyalty as my pop, as my dad. And I looked up to him. And, you know, it's hard. It really is. because you want your dad to be that perfect soldier, you know. You want him to be like, he's the man, you know. But yeah, like that was really personal, that part of my life, and I had to put it on a song. I wanted people to see how I felt, and there's a reason I can't stand cops because of that. I mean, and other things too, but that was one of the big reasons. I have to say the hit is Victoria Gotti, because that's the song I pushed the most. I mean, when Al Capone came out, I was so excited. Al Capone set the tone, though. That's one thing Al Capone, like I said, did. It set the tone, but Al Capone wasn't the hit. So much more people vibe with Victoria Gotti. I had the radio stations like, yo, push this fucking song. This song is going to go far. So that's what I did. I had a music video. It hit over 5,000 and something views on YouTube, which was big for me. It still is. But that was the biggest song. And I mean, everybody vibed with it. I did so many shows touring that song. Everybody loved it. It was the most largest amount of work I put into was that song. Well, Victoria Gotti, believe it or not, actually had a feature on it. His name was Kashmerreluv. In the beginning, I had to take him off. He was cool. Like I was just young and stupid, I guess. That's how we should put it. Like, I believed everything that came out of that guy's mouth. Like, I just wanted to make it so bad. Like, when you're poor and you're starving and you're hungry, and you have people, like, when I went to this dude's place, I was like, oh, he has a house and shit. Like, this dude I actually believed was something great. As being young and, you know, ignorant, I didn't know. So when I started meeting up with him, we ended up I went to his house. I saw he mixed music and everything just like me. He had a sense of love for it. I was like, this is nice. And when I showed him Victoria Gotti, he saw it and he loved it. He knew what every other radio station knew. He knew it was a hit. And he wanted to be on that fucking song. So he did it. He put his verse on there and everything. He sent it to me. He had his presets on his audio already. He didn't put much work into it. I was like, all right, cool. I got a feature on it. You know, now I'll get his fans. I was thinking like that at the time. I wasn't really thinking like, dude, this song is so great, I could just finish it myself. But I gave him the chance to jump on it. We went to Milk River and did a show for the Oktoberfest, literally 2 years ago from now. And we did the show. I was on stage with him and everything, and Hip Hop Is Real saw the hit in that song. So Hip Hop Is Real came to interview me. I was so excited. I was like, yo, this is a big station. Like, they go everywhere. They fucking go. And shout out to Hip Hop Is Real, because what they do is excellent. They interview so many people, famous people. So, I mean, this was a big deal for me. It was going to get sponsored and shit. Al Capone Cigars sponsored the interview. But Kashmerreluv had this thing called Tough Heart Gang. I wasn't a part of it yet. He just made it so big. And at the interview, he basically took the interview that was addressed to me. He took it and made himself look like the CEO of some kind of company that I was under. And he basically just made me look like retarded. And I didn't want to argue with him and start beef, because then the interview was going to go down. So I didn't really know what to do. But a lot of people watch the interview, and you basically see me sitting there. They're asking me a question. I'm going to answer it. And he jumps in front of me and talks over me. Now I'm looking at him, and I'm like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up and let me talk. Like, this is my interview. And you see me look at him like that too. But he didn't want to take the chance to let me talk and feel good about myself. He wanted me to feel like the sheep and he was the lion, you know? So I basically had to be under his shoe. He wanted me to be under him. That's the best way I could put it. And I was the one with the ideas. I was the one who had the hit songs. I was the one who had the clout from 105 coming at me, asking me to do the show. I was the one who had everything. But you know what? He wanted to steal it. He saw the ideas from me. He saw everything that I had. And he was like, you know what? You're smart. But I'm going to make you seem like you're dumb. Because I know you look up to me. So he was smart in his own way. He took my ideas. It made me feel like I needed him to excel them. When I didn't need him at all. And it all broke down when I actually had 105 call me back. And I had a meet and greet with the Breakfast Club. So I was going to sit down with Charlamagne, Envy, shake their hands, take the pictures with them. You know, just be in the Breakfast Club's show in the morning. And it was just so funny how it just prospered. Because he jumped in the shit and was like, you better bring me up there. I was like, but they don't want you up there. They want me up there. Like, you know, this is all generating from my singles. You know, you're there to do the shows with me as a featured artist, but I'm the artist they want to speak to. They don't want to see anybody else. Nah, kid, nah, you got to bring me up there. If I ain't going up there to meet them, I ain't doing the show. I'm like, you're going to meet them at the damn show anyways. So he's like, nah, I don't want to do the show then. I ain't doing the show. I'm like, well, fuck you. Then you're not going to be on Victoria Gotti anymore. So I had to call up the distribution companies because the song was already out. I had to get him removed from the fucking song. And literally that night, I made my second verse for Victoria Gotti, which it made that song a hit. I was able to do my video. It said everything I wanted to say. It basically kept the message. Boot him off the fucking song because, I mean, he just fucked up. And basically use it to my best advantage. And I made a hit. That's all I could say. I believed in myself. And I made it work and I made it happen.